Hello, everybody, and welcome to our session today on the scholarships for women in STEM from the British Council. So I'm Jessica Swan. I'm the Senior Manager for Higher Education here in the Americas. And we're here today to talk to you about this brilliant scholarship, which is aimed at supporting women who want to do a master's in the UK in a STEM field. I'm joined today by colleagues from the Imperial College London, and a special guest, Maria Vincentelli, who is a current student studying at Imperial College London with one of the scholarships for women in STEM from last year. So before we start, I would love for you in the chat, in the comments, to tell us where you're joining from and what area of STEM you want to take your master's in. We'd love to begin to get to know you. So whilst you're typing away, I'm just going to give a very quick introduction to the scholarships. So the scholarship scheme was set up last year specifically to support women from around the world to pursue a career in STEM, and doing that by supporting them with a fully paid scholarship to do a master's in the UK. And so that means that we're covering tuition fees, you will get a stipend for your living expenses, reimbursement for flights, visas, everything, every major cost is covered. And if you're a mother, we also have funds available if you're successful in applying, and to pay for the travel, for you to travel with your children as well. So this year in the Americas, we've got 25 scholarships on offer, hosted by 5 brilliant universities. To be eligible for a scholarship, you need to be a woman, a passport holder and resident in either Brazil, Mexico or Peru. You need to be able to start your studies in September or October of 2022. You need to demonstrate a need for financial support. So you need to show that on your own, you wouldn't be able to pay for this scholarship in the UK. You need to have an undergraduate degree that would allow you access access to the particular masters that you want to study. You need to have the English level requirements for that course. And we're also really looking for you to be an active in the field of work that you're pursuing your studies in. And we're also keen for you to become a committed British Council scholarship alumni. So we'll be sharing with you very shortly in the comments a link to the British Council website where you can get all the information about the scholarships. But for now, I am delighted to introduce you to Catherine Eames and Helen Carter, both from Imperial College London. They will be sharing with you all the information you need to know about Imperial College London, what it's like to study there, and a bit more information about the courses on offer this year under the scholarship scheme. And then you'll be hearing from Maria Vincentelli, who is a current student studying with a scholarship at Imperial. So without further ado, over to you, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jenna.
Thanks a lot. So hi everyone. Yes, my name's Catherine. I'm joined by my colleague Helen, and we're going to start by kind of giving an overview about Imperial. I'll sort of talk through some of the general things you might expect at the university and cover some of the programmes that are will be covered by this scholarship potentially, including the application process. And I'll then hand over to Helen to talk more specifically about the business school options as well. And then we'll end with Maria, who I'm sure you're very keen to hear from, so she can tell you about her experience at Imperial and hopefully also give you some tips about applying as well. So just going through some general information about the university. We are a specialist university. We only offer degree programs in science, engineering, medicine and business, and we offer a lot of kind of integration between those areas. So that's why we think this particular scholarship is an amazing fit for us. It really is what we are all about in terms of that kind of STEM focus. Kind of a medium-sized university in terms of undergraduates and postgraduates. And I said about being a nice fit as well. I wanted to highlight how our community really is looking to support women in STEM, whether that's through the sort of networks that are available to our students and staff, to special initiatives such as in March we'll have Women at Imperial Week, for example, and also we're a founding member of the Athena Swan Charter as well, championing women within higher education as well. So just to highlight some of those options as well. Now, we are pretty good at what we do. So if you look at most kind of rankings, you will see us there kind of at the top. And we're really proud, particularly this year, to be named the Times, in the Good University Guide, the University of the Year. And that's kind of for a whole range of aspects, but we're very proud of that. We're also incredibly international, which we feel is a real benefit to our students. So well over half of our student population come from outside the UK, and that can really enrich your experience with us. It means you're getting ideas and perspectives from across the globe that really kind of feed into your experience and education. We are very international, but we are very much based in London. So one of our largest campuses is in South Kensington in Zone 1 Central London. That's next to some of the kind of institutes you may well have heard of, such as the Science Museum, the Natural History Museum, the Victoria and Albert Museum. Some of the city's greatest facilities and resources are available right on your doorstep. Located here at the top of the picture is the world famous Hyde Park as well. So really beautiful part of the city to be based in. But we also have hospital campuses. We have a brand new campus out at White City with brand new research labs as well. So you may well be moving across the city during your time with us. I'm sure London is a place that would interest you, but just to kind of highlight how it's not just us that say it's a great city. So consistently QS do rank London as the best student city for things like networking opportunities, kind of international experience, career opportunities, for example, as well as obviously being a great social place as well. This just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea how you might move around the city a little bit. The blue is the River Thames, and you see highlighted in yellow there is the South Kensington campus I mentioned, and then slightly to the left of the picture is the White City campus. So you can see that you really are in the heart of the city when you are studying with us. A couple of things I want to highlight just in terms of, I guess, kind of added benefits to studying with us. So yes, you're going to be finishing and studying, a world-class degree, but there's lots of opportunities to get involved and kind of really enhance your time with us. So one of the key areas we've really been investing in recently is around sort of enterprise and innovation. So we offer a number of different options and programs to all our students. So whether you're studying kind of, a STEM program or a business program, you can have access to things such as our Enterprise Lab, whereby you can take part in things like pitching competitions and kind of join and collaborate with other students. So if you have kind of bright ideas, we really want to nurture them with you so that you can develop them into kind of potentially viable business options, for example. So you can see actually here over 5 years, we've supported over 230 different student startup companies and raised over £200 million in investment. Also do want to highlight as well kind of how you might be spending your time sort of beyond studying as well. A big part of student life in the UK is around those kind of additional experiences. So whether that's through sport, music, or getting involved in volunteering, there are lots of different ways to spend your time as a student with us, and we really support you in making the most of your university time. In terms of support, just to highlight the wealth of support that is out there for you, whether that's through your departments, your course directors, study tutors. We also have started a new initiative whereby we support you in that transition stage between your undergraduate and postgraduate degree. So Adapt to a post-grad course helps you do this. And then there's lots of independent support out there as well, whether that's healthcare, for example, or the student counselling and mental health advice service. There are a lot of options there for you. We have a dedicated international student support team as well, who will be there to support you in things like applying for your visa, for example, but also it's settling into life in London as well. So they run a number of activities throughout the year, so you can explore London together with other international students or visit other places across the UK as well. To highlight as well, as a student doing a master's programme with us, you do get an extra level of support as part of being part of the graduate school. So they offer additional skills development programs for you. So when you leave, you're even more confident in how you're going to use your degree. Also do have fantastic careers service as well available to you to really kind of support you in terms of what you want to do next, connecting you with future employers, and also things such as our alumni mentoring service is a really key aspect. Just kind of as a result of all of this, we do quite well in terms of our where our graduates go and what they do. So we do have some really impressive kind of accolades in terms of graduate prospects and starting salaries. And our students go across the world and really kind of become part of this large global alumni network. And we're really keen for students to keep connected after they leave us as well. So we have what's called the Imperial Plexus program that will be, a platform that will be available to you after you leave. So you can keep connected with alumni. If you move to a new city, for example, you can easily reach out and connect with alumni there as well. So just moving on in terms of kind of covering which programs are available to you under this scholarship potentially. As I mentioned, we are a specialist university, so these are our faculties in the business school. So I'm just going to highlight the programs that are available in the Faculty of Engineering and Natural Sciences for you to consider. So there are quite a few programs under the engineering faculty. So we have options in bioengineering, the Civil and Environmental Engineering Department, the Department of Computing, Department of Earth Sciences, Electrical Engineering, Mechanical Engineering, and the Department of Materials. So there are quite a few different engineering options. And then moving on to the Faculty of Natural Sciences, there are a number of programs in the Department of Chemistry, Life Sciences, a program in Physics, as well as in our Centre for Environmental Policy. So just to kind of broadly give you an idea in terms of the entry requirements, this will depend a little bit on which degree you actually apply to and where your undergraduate degree is from. So we do take into consideration, where geographically you are studying in terms of what we're looking for, but also actually your university that you're studying at for your undergraduate degree as well. So this is just a kind of indication of the range we'd be looking for, but you can always follow up in terms of asking for more specific information. Just to highlight the kind of key deadlines, obviously, time is running fairly kind of tight. So 1 month to go until we have the scholarship deadline. Just to clarify for our process, you do need to have applied to one of our programs that I mentioned so far. It will be slightly different for the programs Helen's going to talk about, but you must have submitted an application for these programs before you can submit the application for the scholarship to us. We would really recommend you do this as soon as possible, because by the time we consider you for the scholarship in the selection process, which will be due to take place fairly soon after the 16th of March, you will need to have an offer for that programme. So in order to give us time to process your application and look to give that offer to you, I really urge you to submit your application as soon as possible. In terms of what we are looking for, we will ask for your transcripts, and those are the kind of GPAs I mentioned we'd be looking for. We then also ask you to write a personal statement, and this is your chance to really bring your application to life in terms of why you are a strong candidate for this particular degree program, the master's program that you're applying to. So you can bring your undergraduate studies to life, but also then include things such as any research experience you might have, work experience, internships, anything that really kind of highlights your motivation to do the programme as well. So the personal statement is an important part of the application. We also ask you to provide details of 2 referees who can support your application as well. So again, in terms of kind of thinking about the timeline around this, do reach out to those referees so that they are ready to provide those details as quickly as possible, just so you're not left kind of, with running out of time really. So do kind of, be ready as soon as possible on that. Just to note, there is an application fee for our master's programmes, but you can apply for a fee waiver. You do need to provide a supporting statement in terms of outlining financial need, so it would be including these kind of details. Any documentation you can provide to support that is useful, but there's not set rules around that. So anything you can highlight around why you need the application fee waiver. Obviously, applying to the scholarship, that is part of it in terms of the fact that, you wouldn't be able to study necessarily without the scholarship, but that won't be enough just on its own. So we do need a bit more explanation around that. I said that's kind of a broad outline afterwards, but just to say, we have lots of resources on the website around how to apply, webinars. The QR code, which I'll show again at the end, sends links. You can sign up to find out more information around that as well, but obviously happy to take questions at the end as well. With that, I'll be passing over to Helen.
Brilliant, thank you. Thank you so much, Catherine. Great to meet you all virtually today. And my name is Helen Carter. I am a student recruitment manager at Imperial College Business School. So within the business school specifically, we have around 1,800 students each year across 15 master's programs, and we also offer 4 MBA programs. Within our masters, there are 3 master's programs that we offer that are also available and applicable to this particular scholarship. So those are our MSc Climate Change Management and Finance programme, our Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Management programme, and our MSc International Health Management programme. And you're going to hear from Maria a bit in a moment, who is currently studying on the International Health Management programme. So she'll be able to give you a bit more information about that and her experience of studying at Imperial. So just to highlight, these are all 1-year full-time programmes. They all run start in September each year. Our MSc Climate Change Management and Finance programme. Within this programme, students study the interdisciplinary skills required in business on issues relating to climate change and sustainability. So you have both the experience of studying business, finance, management, combined with the science of climate change. And we work in conjunction with the Grantham Institute, and the contacts and the resources and the research that takes place within the Grantham Institute all feeds into our MSc Climate Change Management and Finance programme. So it's a really interesting programme. I can see that somebody's mentioned in the chat box as well that they're interested in this programme, which is great. And I'll provide a bit more information about applying for this programme and the application deadlines in a moment. You'll see on the screen just the average cohort size. So we have 93 students in this cohort. The average age is 24. 57% of students on the programme are female, and we have 37 nationalities represented. As Catherine mentioned, we have students joining from Imperial across all around the world, and you'll see that reflected in some of these statistics. So then moving on, this programme is new to be offered for this particular scholarship. It's been running for many years, but we weren't offering the British Council Women in STEM Scholarship with this programme. So great to see that it's on here. So this programme is really designed for people that either have would like to be an entrepreneur, would like to develop a business idea or business ideas and learn the skill set as to how to do that, or for people who are intrapreneurs who want to innovate from within an organisation. This programme will give you the skill set, the knowledge and resources to enable you to do that. As Catherine mentioned, you have access to, as well as the resources within the business school, things like the Imperial Enterprise Lab. So students on this programme particularly will work really closely and get involved in lots of activities within the Imperial Enterprise Lab. So again, this is a 12-month programme. We have a cohort size of 101 students. The average age is 23, and we have 53% of female of students are female, with 42 nationalities represented. I'll give you a bit of information about degree backgrounds of students on this programme shortly on the next slide, but just to finally go on to our International Health Management programme. So our International Health Management programme gives students a thorough overview of the UK health system and then its application within a global context. So we have faculty on this programme from all around the world with different experiences of different health systems around the world. So it will also give you the skill set to springboard your career within the management sector and a wider global health, wider global healthcare sector. And like I said, Maria should be able to provide you with a bit more information about her experience studying the programme so far. This programme is 12 months long. We have a cohort of 93 students, average age is 24, and we have 69% of the cohort female, with 37 nationalities represented on this cohort. Now I'm just going to move on to the degree backgrounds of students on these programmes, so in the current cohort. So if we could just move on to the next slide. Great, thank you. So you'll see here our climate change management and finance programme, we see top percentage of students coming from economics degree backgrounds, but we do see quite a mixture on this programme. It is a fairly quantitative programme, so do come ready to apply to the application and able to demonstrate your quantitative skill set. There'll be a section in the application form where you can include this information. International health management, you'll see 62% of our students are coming from science or medicine degree backgrounds, which is not surprising given the nature of this programme and the topics that you'll cover. Innovation, entrepreneurship and management, you'll see students from business management degree backgrounds, but we do accept candidates from a range of different degree backgrounds going on to this programme. So it is quite mixed. So you'll see there we have some students from arts, humanities degree backgrounds, from engineering, technology, economics, business management. So really quite varied in terms of what students have done before coming on to join this programme. Now, just to give you some key information about how to apply and our application, our internal application deadline. So I'll go on to the next slide, please. Okay, so I can see a question came in the chat box about this. Now, to be considered for one of these programs and to make sure that you have an offer in time to apply for the British Council Women in STEM Scholarship, you will need to submit your application basically by midnight on Monday, the 21st of February. So not a huge amount of time to go, so around about 5 days. So please ensure that your application is submitted by then if you'd like to be considered for the Climate Change Management and Finance, International Health Management or Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Management programme. And we will ensure that anybody that has applied by this date is considered and gets their decision by that final by the British Council Women in STEM Scholarship deadline. That does rely on you submitting a complete application though, with all of the information that we need and the documents that are required. So we will ask for your copies of your degree transcripts, so make sure that you've got those to hand. English language results you don't have to have at the point that you apply. You can provide those once the application has been submitted. It's possible to receive a conditional offer for English language results. We will require an up-to-date CV, so do make sure you've got that prepared. There's some career planning questions that you will be required to answer as part of the application form for these business school programs, where we ask you to talk about your career goals and your career aspirations, so do spend some time on that. They're a really important part of the application form. The personal statement is, the format of that is that we ask you 4 specific questions. These 4 questions are listed on our website, but just to tell you what they are, we ask you, please, can you share your motivation for undertaking the programme? What is your proudest achievement? What would you contribute to the cohort and to the Imperial community? And how would you use your degree to make a positive impact? Now you can start preparing those answers before you submit the application. There's a 1,500 character limit for each question. So just take a look on the business school website, have a look at what the questions are, and you can start to draft those. We ask for 2 references. At least one needs to be an academic reference. So you'll be asked to input your referee's details, and the request will go directly to your referees to submit that reference to us. So please try and encourage your referees to do that as quickly as possible once you've submitted your application. As Catherine mentioned, there is an application processing fee of £80. It is possible to submit an application fee waiver, so you can email details to our application processing fee waiver team to request that waiver. The interview comes after the application has been submitted. So if you're shortlisted, you will be invited to attend an interview via a video link, but that comes afterwards. But the key with this is to please make sure you have applied by that deadline on the 21st of February for those 3 business school programs. And then just on the next slide, you'll just see my email address. So if you do have any specific questions about the international health management, innovation entrepreneurship and management, or climate change management and finance masters, please do reach out to me and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Okay, so that was myself and Catherine's overview. So I hope you found that useful. Now, though, I'm going to hand over to Maria, who, as I mentioned, is a current student on our MSc International Health Management programme. So, Maria, I will hand over to you to introduce yourself.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, so I am Maria Carolina Vincentelli. I was born and raised in Caracas, Venezuela. I am a 26-year-old medical doctor. I graduated from medical school in March 2020. I decided to come here to the UK because I've always dreamed of having the experience of living in the UK, especially in London. I think I've always been in love with the city. So, and I always knew that I always wanted to make a positive impact. So I think that's the reason why I decided to study medicine. And after studying medicine and being able to work through the pandemic, I noticed that I wanted to help on a larger scale. So I started to look for opportunities to enhance my professional and my personal career through postgraduate studies. And that's when I found out about Imperial College London and this specific master's. I'm doing the Master's in International Health Management. And none of these were to be possible if I didn't got the British Council Scholarship for Women in STEM. So this is truly a dream. If you are a woman in the STEM area and you're considering in applying for any of these positions or any of these programs, like I encourage you to do it because you will be able to make an impact not only in your country, but perhaps worldwide. So to tell you a little bit more about how I applied for this scholarship and this program, as I said before, I graduated in March 2020. And around December of that year, after working in diverse programs with rural communities and indigenous communities in Venezuela, I decided that I wanted to enhance my background. And I started looking for opportunities in the UK. I started researching different universities, different scholarships, and everything just felt right when I found this master's in Imperial College London, which is a leading university worldwide. And when I found out about this full scholarship that literally helps you with everything. So it's been a dream. Another thing, like I learned about this in December, but I applied around February, if I'm not wrong, for both the scholarship and the program. I learned that I got into the program, and afterwards, after a couple of, I think about a month or 2 months, I learned that I got the scholarship. So after doing that, you will basically need to have all your papers in order, because if you get a conditional offer, the way to make it unconditional is by having all your transcript, everything up to date, everything that they require from the university, basically. And I came here around, I think it was late September. So I came to London around that date and I started my master's here. It's been a dream so far. I've made friends not only from the scholarship from Colombia and Brazil specifically, because those are the ones that are here at Imperial with me in different masters, but only from across the globe. I can tell now that my group of friends is really diverse. Like both of my best friends from here from Imperial are one from Saudi Arabia and the other one from Hungary. So imagine a Venezuelan, a Hungarian, and a Saudi girl just hanging together. And none of these were to be possible if it wasn't truly for this incredibly and diverse university and this incredible scholarship. So to talk a little bit more about my experience at Imperial, I am quite happy with the masters. It's been a dream because we see different type of courses. So, for example, we see health economics, we see business strategy for healthcare, we see healthcare innovation, we see business strategy. So it's a really comprehensive program that will help you achieve what you want to do. If it's in healthcare management, for example, most of the students that are with me in my cohort tend to go to consultancies, medtech companies, pharmaceutical companies, healthcare management positions, NGOs, and there are plenty of more options, for example. If you were to come to Imperial with us, I would suggest you to get as much as involved as you could. For example, I am part of the Latin American Society. I am actually going to an event with them this night to embrace our culture, and we're doing a Paraguayan night. So it's incredible to be able to engage with people from diverse countries, but that also relate to your same culture. So it's an opportunity that you get at Imperial by joining different societies. Another thing that I wanted to do was get involved in student leadership. So I decided to apply for chair of my program for international health management and for student ambassador of the business school. And I am happy to say that I've been representing my cohort since the start of our program as the chair and as a student brand ambassador. So I get to be able to engage with people from diverse countries that are interested in applying to Imperial to different programs. So that's something that you could also do in Imperial if you're keen to be a student leader. There are different positions, there are different societies, there are different activities, sports, and everything that you can join and be a part of something great. So regarding tips that I have for you, I will definitely say that you need to take note of important deadlines so you don't leave your application to last minute. And I read that the deadline is pretty soon. So it's the 21st of February. So I would highly recommend you that you start working on it if you haven't done so. Take note of all the entry requirements and aim to have all your academic papers, such as the transcripts, up to date. So in the case that you get a conditional offer, you can make that conditional offer unconditional as fast as you can. So you are able to request your visa early and not leave it to last minute. I don't know about the requirements, the language requirements for this year, but I remember that last year, if you wanted to apply for the UK visa, or if you needed to apply for the UK visa, you needed to do the IELTS rather than the TOEFL. So do a little research about that and take that into consideration, because I know that we, as people that come from Latin America, usually take the TOEFL before the IELTS. So this is important to take into consideration. And when applying and answering all the questions for your personal statement, stay true to yourself. Answer honestly. Try to show who are you, what you've done, and what do you want to achieve, and how are you going to achieve it with this program and this scholarship. So be extremely precise and try to answer the question that's being asked. Also, revise it and check that there are no mistakes and that you are literally answering the asked question and not diverge too much. Also, just to close this, and if you have any questions, you can leave it in the chat. As a recommendation, being in the STEM area is extremely important, especially as women, because women in STEM are being underrepresented since the beginning of times. So it's really rewarding to be able to do something for our countries and for ourselves and for the world with this area that we know we're not that much as much as men are usually in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Like, it's usually a man-led area. And if you feel that you're the perfect fit for this scholarship and you're the perfect fit for Imperial, I would encourage you to apply and to make this year, well, it could be the next year for you, but to make this year like a once in a lifetime opportunity and to make the most out of it. So yeah, I think that's probably it. But if you have any specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much, Maria, and also Catherine and Helen. So now we've got to the time now where we'll be answering all of your questions. So we've seen a few questions coming in through the different chats. So if you have any questions for either myself kind of from British Council perspective, or for Catherine, Helen or Maria, now is your opportunity to send them through. So I saw there's a couple of questions kind of about the application processes. One from Kerr in Peru asked, what is the procedure to apply for the fee waiver? I don't know if...
Yeah. So there's just a kind of additional form to fill in. So I will, when I finished, have a look for the link to the page, and we can maybe share that. But basically, it's just sort of an additional, there's an email address to contact with your details, and basically to be considered for the waiver.
Super, thank you. Another question coming from Peru, from Nadia Ruth. She asks, do the 2 references and English results need to be sent before the 21st of February deadline?
Yeah, so I can answer this one for the business programmes. If there's anything different, then I'm sure Catherine can jump in. So for the 3 business school programmes that I mentioned, you don't need to have your English language results at the point that you apply, no, so you can apply before you've met that requirement. If you are successful in receiving an offer, then what would happen is your offer would have an English language condition attached to it if you've not already met that, and you would need to meet that before the programme starts, although I think there is also a British Council deadline of in July to meet that English language requirement as well, so just keep that in mind. But it is possible to apply for the programme before you've met that English language requirement. With the references, there's no strict deadline, but ideally we would say to get those in within a few days of the 21st of February. So around about the 23rd, 24th of February, we would have need to have received those references, just to make sure that we do then have a complete application, because the timeline is quite tight. We just want to make sure that those references come in as quickly as possible after the 21st of February deadline. So give your referees some advance notice so that they can, as soon as they get the request, they can submit that immediately.
Yeah, just say for the kind of central college programmes, very similar in terms of the English language can be submitted afterwards. It would mean that if you were to be given an offer, it'd be conditional, but you have more time for that. But again, we can't process your application fully until we have those references. So the timing's slightly different in terms of, for the central programmes, you need to have submitted the application by the 16th of March. But the selection will happen quite soon after that, and we won't be able to select you if we haven't got a full application at that point. So again, not quite as tight, but very soon we would need those references.
Brilliant, thank you. And there was a question as well from Fer Gonzalez in Mexico, and she asked, so she said, she's applied for the master's program in climate change management and finance, and that the school got back to her saying that she'd find out whether she was accepted or not in 6 to 8 weeks. Does she need to wait for that acceptance before applying for the scholarship, or can she go ahead and apply for the scholarship?
So yeah, for the climate change management and finance programme, if you have applied already, then your application will be considered, and you will have a decision on your application before the 16th of March, which is the deadline that we've given for you to apply for this scholarship. So you would, if you've already applied, you will receive an offer if you're successful in time to apply for the scholarship, but that is conditional on you obviously have submitting a full application and those references coming through. So if we are waiting on anything, just make sure you get that through as quickly as possible. But yeah, that kind of 6 to 8 weeks is general, but for this specific scholarship, we're aware there's a tighter deadline, so we will process your application to make sure that you have a decision in time for the scholarship deadline.
Yeah, just to sort of echo that in terms of the 6 to 8 weeks is our general kind of, covering ourselves processing time, but we are obviously in touch with the relevant departments who are in this scholarship scheme. So as long as, you do get your applications in, we'll be chasing them up for you and, making sure that they are kind of processed in time as much as possible. But obviously, as I said, give us as much time as possible by submitting your application as soon as you can.
Brilliant, thank you both very much. Right, there were a couple more questions that were a bit general, and I think I can take these from a British Council standpoint. So Vanessa in Peru asked, is there an option for an undergraduate scholarship? And no, the scholarships for women in STEM at the moment only apply for full master's degrees. So unfortunately, at the moment, no, we're not able to offer an undergraduate scholarship option. And somebody else, sorry, I've lost your name. Noelia asked, how many STEM scholarships are there for Peru? And I can say that, so for Peru, the only institution that you're eligible to apply for is Imperial. For students from Mexico and Brazil, there are 4 other universities, and we're going to be speaking to those universities exactly this time tomorrow and on Friday. But for Peru, yes, the only option that you have is Imperial, and there are 2 scholarships available for students from Peru. So yeah, that's that answer. Then I saw another question from Ana Paula in Mexico. She says, my transcript is in process. Is there another deadline for another semester? So for the scholarship, I can answer from a British Council scholarship point of view. Unfortunately, the scholarships only work on this one cycle. So we're only able to offer students who are able to apply for places starting in September or October 2022. But what I would say is, this is definitely, we're big fans of the scholarship at the British Council, and we're hoping to continue to offer this sort of a scholarship, in the years to come. What I can't say is which universities we'll be working with, but we would hope that there'll be future opportunities for you to apply. But Helen or Catherine, I don't know whether you had anything else to add to.
Just in terms of kind of submitting your documents and for us to assess you, again, it can sometimes depends on when you'll actually be finishing university and kind of how that fits in. But you can apply with kind of your final degree transcript still pending. It would mean that you would have a conditional offer again, but you'd have to be obviously on track to finish and get those transcripts in time for the scholarship still, so it wouldn't be into next kind of cycle. But if you're going to be getting those final transcripts a little bit later in the year, you can still apply and get what would be a conditional offer.
Brilliant. And what sort of deadline would that be in terms of having that transcript ready for entering this the next academic year?
Normal process for us is July, I believe. But I don't know if it maybe might sort of change a bit with the scholarship side of things. But normally you'd have, if you're conditional, have until July to submit the conditions of your offer.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So a question just came in from Olga in Peru. She said she's just reviewed Imperial College London website, and there aren't any programs for psychology. Is that the case?
No, sorry, we don't offer psychology at all. And obviously this scholarship is only working with certain departments. So I think we shared the link to the scholarship page, which again kind of repeats the slides that we've shown in terms of which departments and which specific programs are potentially covered by the scholarship.
Super, thank you. And I think there was another question from Lucero, and he asked, or she asked, sorry, are there only programs available? are these the only programs available for the scholarship? They were asking about particularly an MSc in computing or software engineering. So that's the same answer there.
So yeah, so we do have an MSc computing covered, but not the specific stream of software engineering. So it is quite limited, I'm afraid.
No worries. And what I would say, I was going to say for those of you who are joining from Peru or Mexico, there are programs available at 4 other universities that you can review, and the information about those universities is on the British Council website. I think that's all of the questions that have come in so far. If you're listening and you've got any questions, now is your chance to ask them. So for now, I think we've got some other questions that had kind of come in before the session. So I'll go ahead and ask some of those whilst we're waiting for other questions to come through. So I guess this could be a question for both Catherine and Helen, but then I'd be interested to see what Maria thinks as well. So the question is, what are you looking for in a successful application? And so for Maria, I guess it would be, what do you think made your application successful, and what advice would you give?
Okay, so from the applicant point of view, I think that what makes a successful application is that you stay true to yourself, but you also show what you've done, what's your background, what's your experience, what did you study, and what do you want to do. And not only what do you want to do, like, okay, yeah, I want to study this master's, but I mean, like, what is your ultimate goal by studying these masters and by applying to this scholarship, and how this program and this scholarship will help you achieve it. So I feel like if you cover those points, you'll be on the right track.
Thank you, Maria.
So yeah, just to lead on from what Maria was saying, I agree. So particularly with the business school application form, you will be asked things about, you'll be asked some career planning questions, and we do look for them to be well researched. So I think it's important for you going into applying to the programme that you've done your research, that it's what you're looking for, it's a good fit for you, so that you can then kind of hit the ground running when the programme starts. So the programmes, again, particularly that I've mentioned, they are specialised programmes, so they are quite niche programmes. So seeing a real interest in those particular areas is really important. So it's good for you to obviously demonstrate your interest and motivations, but as mentioned in some of the personal statement questions, we also ask about what can you bring to the Imperial community, just outside of your academic studies as well. What other things are you involved in and interested in? I think that's really important to see.
I guess for the kind of central university side programs, we're not quite so specific, I guess, in terms of actually prompting you with questions. So the personal statement is very much an open essay with no set actual word limit or anything like that. We generally say around 2 sides of kind of letter paper, A4 paper, is around what you should be aiming for. We don't need 20 pages of your whole life story. It should be fairly succinct and kind of precise, but also enough information to go on. But that motivation is still very much there. Why do you want to study a master's degree? Why this particular degree? As Helen said, these are very specific programs you're applying to. You're applying specifically to a master's degree in a particular subject at Imperial, and you can see on the web pages what sort of classes you'll be taking. So why is it you want to do those? And really then, why are you the strong candidate to do that in terms of your past experiences, as I said, kind of any research experience, work experience, internships, anything that kind of brings your kind of statement to life and potentially makes you stand out against other candidates.
Brilliant. So I couldn't unmute myself then. Brilliant. Thank you so much, all 3 of you. We have had another question come in, a couple of other questions come in. So Gisela from Peru asks, if I apply this weekend, when will I receive a decision from Imperial College London? So, Catherine, do you want to go first? Yeah.
With the central side, it wouldn't be that quick. I would say, sort of, as I said, the general side of things is the 6 to 8 weeks. But as we said, we are really aware of this deadline, so we're going to be kind of in contact with the departments who are in this scheme. So we'll be contacting them as soon as possible. It's likely to be around that 16th of March, so that's where we'd like you to submit your application as soon as possible, so that we have time to process it, which, as I said, normally does take some time, but we'll be aiming to look for all the students who are applying for the scholarship to get them ready so they can be considered after that 16th of March deadline. But the earlier you can do it, the better, but it's likely to still be a couple of weeks before you hear anything.
Yeah, and that's the same for the business school programs as well. It would be by the 16th of March. So I suppose around 3 to 4 weeks to receive the final decision.
Super. So I guess the advice would be, if people who connect today that are planning on applying, do their the academic application as soon as possible, and maybe whilst they're waiting to hear, prepare the scholarship application so that as soon as they hear, it's then just a case of submitting the scholarship application.
Yeah, and actually for the central side, as long as you've submitted that application to us academically, you can straight away submit the scholarship application, and actually the deadline for that would be the 16th. So yeah, make sure you do that before the 16th for the central programs.
And does that differ at all, Helen, for the business school?
No, that would be the same.
Super. In which case, yes, get your applications in and then prepare your scholarship application and make sure that is in before the 16th of March. So Nadia Ruth asked, how many weeks does admission take at Imperial College? And I'm assuming that's the standard sort of 6 to 8 weeks, but you're trying to speed that up for these programs. Super. So I can't see any more questions from the audience. I'm going to go back to one of the pre-submitted questions. So I've got a question from someone who says, I am a mother. Can I study and travel with my children? Catherine, I don't know whether you want to take that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can help with the kind of general scholarship side of things, but absolutely the scholarship covers that, and Imperial will look to support you in terms of that. I mentioned the International Student Support Team. They do particular events for students with families, for example, so there'll be kind of additional support for you in that. But yes, I believe it's all covered by the scholarship as well.
Yeah, so kind of from a British Council perspective, I mean, one of the, oh, sorry, my cat's decided to join the session. Yeah, from a British Council perspective, we were really keen when we were setting up these scholarships that women who were mothers weren't excluded. And so what we've done is we have set aside funds for mothers to be able to travel with their children. So I think it's up to 2 children can travel with you, and you'll get an additional stipend per child per month to help you cover the additional costs that obviously having children brings. So yeah, don't let being a mother hold you back from applying for this scholarship. So we can see a couple more questions. We're almost at time now, so we've got 7 minutes left. So I'm going to go for, there's a question from Barbara in Brazil, who asks, is there an age limit for the scholarships? I mean, from the British Council side, no.
And same for us.
Yeah, same for the business school programs.
Super. The one question from Nadia Ruth in Peru. She says, is it necessary to have an undergraduate score above 14? Students at UNI, top Peruvian university for engineers, usually don't get that score.
Sure. So as I said, we do take into consideration which university you're studying at. So, a top ranked university will probably be looking for a slightly lower kind of GPA score, but 14 would be our minimum we would be looking for. We are quite competitive in terms of kind of applications. So yeah, that would be the kind of minimum we're looking, but we would consider you for a 14 or on a 14 for most of these programs for us.
Super, thanks ever so much. We got through those questions very quickly. So I think we've probably got time for maybe one more question. Another one that was sent in before the session. Actually, so I've just seen another question come in. So people are asking about whether a recording is available of this session. So yes, this session has been automatically recorded and will be posted onto our Facebook page. So you'll be able to go back to this session in the coming days as you're making your application. That's not a problem. And actually, I will also just give a plug for the sessions tomorrow and on Friday. So tomorrow we will be joined by the University of Warwick and Anglia Ruskin University, who are also offering scholarships to students or to women in Brazil and Mexico. And then on Friday, we will be joined by University of Bristol and the University of Nottingham, again for women from Brazil and Mexico. So if you want to learn more about the programs that they have on offer, the application processes that and deadlines, because they do differ slightly university by university, make sure to join those sessions or check back for the recordings if you're unable to join live. And actually, I think we're pretty much at time now. So I think if there aren't any other questions, I'd just like to say thank you ever so much to everyone who's joined us and who's engaged and sent their questions in. Thank you ever so much, Catherine, Helen, and Maria for joining us today. Maria, I hope you have a great time at your LATAC event this evening.
Thank you.
And any other questions? Check out you've got the links there in the comment sections, and you'll be able to find more information and contact details as well on those pages. So I think that's everything for today. Thank you ever so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.